It is Tuesday, August 28th. Your social media device has found Jaguars Happy Hour. And now your host of Jaguars Happy Hour, a man who will do anything for a Scooby snack, J.P. Shadrick.
Almost anything. Almost. There's still a line somewhere. Welcome in, Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick with former Jaguars kicker Josh Scobee. What's up, man? Scobes?
Hey, another day. Good to be here. I wish we had talked about that Scobee Snacks title, but
yeah, well, yeah. We can work on that. We're gonna have to get through it today because we went through all the work to produce an open for it and do the thing, and I didn't realize it was a sensitive. I didn't know you weren't a Scooby-Doo fan.
Oh, I am. I absolutely am. But I was always called that as a kid. People chasing me on the playground at school and whatnot. So kind of brings back some old memories.
We've got to work on this because last week you told us a story that Daryl Smith had bullied you in the locker room or something, and you're still scarred by that. And then we go back to playground days now, and kids are making fun of your name. I mean,
yeah.
You would think, and every person's their own person. Maybe you would have moved past all that by now, but maybe not. Maybe it's deep down inside.
I have a lot of things buried deep down that I'd like to get out, maybe to the public.
This is a perfect venue for that.
Absolute
Josh.
Perfect venue.
That's what we're here to help.
Well, I appreciate
social
that.
media is here to help
venting
too.
time. Yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot of people who can help.
A lot of avenues. That's good. I appreciate it.
So we'll venture down some of those.
Some of them.
Over this season. Here's a big three things today, though. Wide receiver talk. Marquise Lee is down for the year. What do the Jaguars do at that position? The uniform unveiling a day early this week. The Jags play on Thursday, so head equipment manager Jimmy Luck in the house in about 15 minutes from right now to tell us and show us what the Jags are wearing Thursday. And social Scobee.
Or lack thereof.
We'll see what happens by the final segment.
Hopefully. Send in your questions, please. Yeah. We only got one question submitted. So.
At Josh Scobee 10.
Thank you. Or at JP Shadrick. Correct?
Correct.
All right. We know each other's handle. That's good.
That's pretty good. We're well on our way to a great show here. As we do each and every, or at least the previous two shows we've done, we show off your shirt each week. And this is the Yeah Boye shirt.
Boye. Something like that.
Yeah. DTWD Originals, right?
DTWD Originals. This is one of the few they've given me so far. Apparently they're coming out with more, so can't wait to see those. But what's amazing about them is they are original and they are good. So log on, buy them. I want to see you in the stadium with them because these are comfortable. Obviously, they make your arms look big. So go get them.
So last week you had the King Ramsey one.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Blake Bortles smoking a heater and saying hi haters,
yeah,
right?
My favorite one. Yeah.
That's good. What's next week? Are you just going to tease us?
The next one is the Duval versus all y'all. That's a good one.
Oh.
And then we'll wait for the Patriots game for the Miles Jack one. So they got some good ones.
Yeah, that's a good one. So you can get them online, I'm sure, right? There's a website.
Just go to their Twitter handle too, DTWD Originals and they have a pretty good selection of hats, T-shirts, and whatnot. And they were kind enough to give me quite a few of them, so my closet's filling up.
Love it. I wear extra large. Okay. If you can't tell.
This is a double X. So you think you can fit in this?
I don't know, man.
I'm just kidding. This is a large. I think. I think it's a large. I like them extra tight, so
show off the schmedium there.
I just left the gym.
Did you really?
No.
I didn't think so. Coming up today, Jimmy Luck will show off the uniforms. John Ozier will be in as well and give us the latest from today. Doug Marrone spoke today. Locker room was open. That's all around the corner. We'll get to social Scobee. But first off, a segment that you hate the title of and we haven't even done yet, Scobee Snacks. I don't hate it. Yeah, so Scobee Snacks is what we're going to call this, and each week we'll pick a handful of topics here that we'll get into early in this show. And we'll start off with the Marquise Lee injury, which is the biggest, I think, news from this past game. Awful situation just watching this thing because you know what Marquise has gone through to get back and stay healthy and out on the field the last couple of seasons. Finally got paid, got the big contract. and he was poised for, I think, a very solid season and a big part of this offense, and he goes down. Where do you start here with Marquise, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things you can say about this, but number one, it's just sad. It's the preseason, and we were talking about it the last couple of weeks. You never like to see people get injured during the preseason because so many people think that these games are pointless and why are your starters out there playing, but that's just the way of football is. I mean, it's a violent game. Injuries happen. The tackle that occurred, that the helmet, hit directly in his kneecap, busts out, I don't know, his whole knee. Haven't heard the entire
they never
diagnosis,
said the extent of it, but obviously he's done.
Obviously really tough, and he's going to be going through maybe a 9-month to 12-month rehab process, and it's tough. So now they need the guys that are in that wide receiver room to step up and somebody be the leader, because Marquise has been here the longest of that group, and they need someone now to take his place, and not only in production but in leadership.
Who do you think it might be? Moncrief's new here. The other guys are fairly young. Moncrief's the oldest of the group now.
Yeah, he might be the oldest, but I think it needs to be someone that has been here a couple years. Unfortunately, it is a very young group. I think all of them now need to step up and accept that role, that the leadership has to be a collective thing. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully production can increase, or if not, stay the same. But it's a tough loss. He, like you said, he was poised to have a good year, just coming off a big contract. Really excited to play, I'm sure, and you have something like that happen, it's tough.
You got Keelan Cole, second-year player. D.D. Westbrook, second-year player. Dante Moncrief has a few years in the league in Indianapolis. You got DJ Chark Jr., who's a draft pick this year. Jadon Mickens, who's, a second-year player now. Rashad Green, who's been around but hasn't been available the last couple of years. Those are the main guys. And you go down the list a little bit, guys who are kind of on the bubble here. Wynn and Lazard and Crockett, that's down the list. So there is just not a lot of experience. But fortunately, there's experience in the coaching staff in that room, in Keenan McCardell, and he can kind of rally the troops here. Keenan's a pretty good guy to have lead you. Yeah,
they're lucky to have him as a coach, because he's really going to know exactly what to say to that group and how to get them motivated each week and who the leadership should go to. He's going to be directing that. So, like I said, they're lucky to have him, and they just have to have someone step up or everyone step up. So we'll see.
All right, from earlier today, we'll get back to the Scobee Snacks, your favorite segment, in a moment. But the Drive Time Twitter question of the day from earlier today, who's going to fill Marquise Lee's shoes? D.D. Westbrook, Rashad Green, Jadon Mickens, or somebody else? And it's a runaway. D.D. Westbrook is the favorite today on Twitter. I think it depends on what you're asking, right? D.D. can – and these guys can move a lot of different ways on offense. That's the great thing. Talking to Nathaniel Hackett last week for the pregame show, they're interchangeable. And that's the idea of this receiving crew. You can line up anywhere, any of those 3-4 positions, and at least get by, if not perform pretty well. If you can play those 3 or 4 positions and have 4 guys that can do that, you can line up anywhere.
Yeah, that's the fortunate part about this situation. They have a lot of guys that can go to different positions, not just one. And I think that's something positive that you can look at from this. And I agree with that poll that D.D. would be my favorite to take up the production that they were going to miss from Marquise. So I think D.D.'s got a lot of potential. Obviously what he did in college was amazing, speaks for itself. And last year, when he was healthy, he played well. And he's going to be getting a lot more targets this year, and hopefully he can produce and become that kind of number one receiver we're looking for.
Yeah, once things got going, once he figured it out after he got back on the roster, It was, here we go. This guy has a chance to be something special. Let's continue with the Scobee Snacks. Thoughts on the final preseason game, week 4 of the preseason. It's always one of those where, a lot of the starters aren't going to dress, most likely. They'll be there. And then Doug Marrone said today they're going to stretch at least. They might not play. So I guess they'll dress technically a lot of these guys, but you won't see the majority of the starters in this football game. And they've expanded the roster. They don't have that first cut down anymore, so it's 90 guys going in. So it's the last chance for a lot of these guys to put something on tape. if not for the Jaguars, then for 31 other teams as well.
Yeah, this was the game that always kind of made everyone laugh in the locker room whenever I was playing because, the starters or, the guys that knew that they were going to be starters day one, they knew they weren't playing. And to see that different kind of mindset and attitude that, you're not playing throughout the week, it's just a different type of thing. But I think Coughlin and Marrone are going to have these guys still in that same mindset to be prepared to play no matter what. And with this new rule change, now that they have a full roster for this, that makes it okay to not have your starters playing. I mean, back, a few years ago before they had this rule, you would see some, older guys play that might not be starting. And I think it's a good thing. You're giving the younger guys, the undrafted free agents, the guys 6th, 7th round picks an opportunity to make the team. And if not here, maybe get picked up somewhere else. So I know the fans don't like the preseason. The stadiums aren't full most of the time, but this is really an opportunity for these guys to make a living, to make a squad and fulfill their dream.
We're going to hear a little later today from Andrew Norwell. I caught up with him in the locker room. And to this point, Norwell was an undrafted player.
Which blows my mind.
When he came,
yeah.
and now he's an all-pro, right?
Yeah.
And he's the highest paid guard in football. But I asked him about his recollection of that last week of the preseason as a rookie. I mean, and he had to fight for his job and go out and play and put some on tape and happen to make the 53. And a few games into that rookie season, finally somebody got hurt. 2 guys got hurt, and here he goes. He's in the lineup, and the rest is history. I mean,
yeah.
But it all starts with that.
It really does. And that's kind of funny that you say that because it happened to me the same way. I mean, my first 2 preseason games, I struggled. I missed 3 kicks in 2 games, and then the last 2 had really good games. And I remember that feeling that I had going into the last game saying if I have a good game, I'm going to have a chance at making the team. If I don't, then probably not. So I treated it as a playoff game, a Super Bowl for me, because I was kicking for my career. And the same thing with Norwell. He probably was nervous before that last game, along with most of the guys that are going to be playing this game.
You were a draft pick, though.
I was a 5th round pick. 5th round picks do get cut. So I knew that something could happen. At the same time, I felt confident in what I was doing, but I knew the reality of it.
It's a last opportunity for a lot of these guys to get something done, and that's the fun thing to watch this Thursday night. Final Scobee snack today. Well, you might be snacking at a tailgate party for the Patriots game. That's a couple weeks away. What's going on with this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have a tailgate before the Patriots game. I mean, the next time we're going to be back here playing in TIAA Bank Field will be the Patriots game.
Correct. A
little bit of revenge game for us. So there's a tailgating party opportunity if anyone wants to get involved. It's gtepresents.com, game day experience, game day tailgating experience. That's what the GTE stands for.
Okay.
So yes, so what it is, you basically pay a small amount of money. It's free food and drinks. You get to hang out with some random celebrities, myself being kind of one of those celebrities. Brody Jenner is a host of this.
Okay.
They bring in someone like him because he's a party guy from L.A. and
so you're not a party guy from L.A.
I'm not.
Have that
no
reputation.
I'm a married man that does not party at all.
Okay.
That lives on the South Side. So it would be Brody Jenner being one of the hosts. Robbie Hayes, so Jacksonville native. He was from The Bachelor. I don't watch The Bachelor that much. I watch Bachelor in Paradise, but not Bachelor.
Of course.
Unless my wife makes me, I don't watch it. So he's another one of the hosts. And apparently Rob Gronkowski's girlfriend is another one of the hosts. So they're trying to get some Jaguar fans, Patriots fans, for some reason together for a tailgate party.
That's interesting.
It sounds like a good idea, but like I said, gtepresents.com for tickets.
There you go. That's Patriots game. So what, a 4:25 kickoff against the Patriots for the home opener, the second week of the regular season, and there'll be a lot of storylines that week.
Yeah,
no doubt about
absolutely.
That. Looking forward to that. We got a little football between now and then, though. Thursday night, they'll make the cuts. And then opening week in New York, Odell Beckham's got a new contract now. You know who's going to face week 1, and then the Patriots come in after that. What else is preseason to wrap up with you? Anything?
From this time frame, like the thoughts and the feelings of, a player from now until week 1. I mean, these guys are going through a lot right now, emotionally, physically, obviously, but what their mindset is, and from now until then, is they're hoping to make this team. All 90 guys on that roster right now, at least a third of them are hoping to make this team. So they're busting their butt every single day in practice, in the film room, in the weight room, on the practice field, trying to make this team. I mean, it's a tough thing, and I remember those days, and it's something that these guys are trying to fulfill their dream.
You done any gridiron grilling lately?
I did some last night, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, I did some deer meat. You ever had deer meat?
It's called venison.
Yeah,
yes.
well, I just call it deer meat. That's too fancy for
okay.
Venison. No, I think someone down the line probably said we should call it venison so we don't offend the people that don't like the killing of a deer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's
too
bad for them.
Yeah, every time I see a deer in my neighborhood, I'm like, wow, that thing looks delicious.
You and Lagaman.
Yeah.
The same way.
I always ask him for deer meat.
But I was asking, it's great. I'm glad you grilled and all that.
Yeah.
I was asking about the interview series that you've been doing. You haven't done any of those?
Oh, you mean actual that
That's
that was
a
one-day thing. One-day thing
okay.
that we filmed that.
Okay.
But I've
That's
actually done some real grilling. So.
Well, that's even better story.
Yeah. Yes. It was venison, as you call it. I just call it deer meat.
Deer meat.
Delicious
Whatever.
deer meat.
There you have. You didn't hit it with a car, did you?
That's, well, none of your business, but possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Let's return. And Jimmy Luck will join us. Head equipment manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars will unveil the uniforms for Thursday night's game a day early. Usually it's on Wednesday, but the game's Thursday, so we move it up a day. That'll come up when we return a little later. John Ozier in studio as well for the latest from around TIAA Bank Field today. And Social Scobee, get your questions in for the kicker.
There's only one question so far. We're going to need more questions. Please.
We'll work on that.
Yes.
A little time. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. I've been doing this for 20 years, but success doesn't happen in a vacuum. Thank you for helping me move this thing along. You helped me get this thing going in the early days by telling 20 of your closest friends about Tito's. They told 20 more, and it kept growing from there. We wouldn't be where we are today without your support. Thank you very much. Go to Tito'sVodka.com and pick up some Tito's gear. All proceeds benefit our charity partners. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
We continue on Jaguars Happy Hour on this Tuesday. There's a look at TIAA Bank Field. They're already setting up for Leonard Skinner. We'll get to that show coming up in a little while. But as we do each and every week on this program, normally on Wednesday, it's time now to welcome in head equipment manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Jimmy Luck.
Best in the biz. Best in the biz.
You got a walkout song and everything now?
Yeah, fired up about that. It took me a little while to come up with something, but a little Morrissey back there.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Something a little different.
It worked out. Hey, we got it going. We're normally going to do this on a Wednesday. Today we moved it up a day. Thanks for adjusting your schedule, Jimmy.
No problem. Everything's kind of condensed this week.
It's including this. This
That's
is
right.
part of the condensation. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the water.
That's the way it is. The uniform tracker so far in the preseason, we've seen teal on white week 1, white on white in Minnesota, which could be the road uniform, and then back home, teal on white against Atlanta again. Mm-hmm. And the Jags are 2-1 in those uniform combinations. So, now the moment we've all been waiting for. The uniform unveiling for preseason week 4, the Jags and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. James Carl Luck, what do you got?
That's right. Everybody's holding their breath. So we'll go white pants again.
Okay.
So
they're clean.
They're clean, yes. It takes a little bit of work to get those clean after playing at home. But and then we'll go black jerseys. We'll go with the got a little Marquise right there. Hope he gets well soon.
That's nice of you.
But, yeah, it's kind of one of those weird things. This is normally our home jersey, and we're wearing it on the road. But Tampa chooses to wear white early at home, kind of like we do. Wear something a little lighter. So we're wearing the black, the home blacks on the road.
Love it, man. And I love the Marquise Lee tribute. That's very nice.
Yeah, I think he had some – he went under the knife today. Hopefully he'll get well soon.
Yeah.
And but, yeah, so I figured I'd bring his out here, and you guys were talking about it a little bit earlier. So, but, yeah, so hopefully we'll look good in that. Mr. Khan did say his favorite, I think, the other day on TV was the white on white. So
it is a good look. It's a clean look.
It's good for some people. Some of the bigger guys, maybe not so much.
Yeah, and not for the people washing the jerseys after the games.
That's true. And when you have 90 of them, that's
yes,
puts a little extra time in there.
Josh, what was your favorite uniform combo when you played?
We had a few changes throughout the years. My favorite one was the black on black, without a doubt.
Really?
I mean, obviously, that's a lot hotter jersey, early in the year, but I think it was 05, 06 time around there that we had black on black. We wore it for a couple night games, and everybody loved those jerseys, absolutely. And then we changed them for some reason, I think in 09, to the tightest jerseys imaginable. And if you had any type, if you had a small lunch that day, you could see it. We're like, wow, you ate chicken today. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, those were the seamless jerseys that Reebok did back in the day.
Yeah, so bad, so bad. But yeah, these now, I wish I was still playing just so I could wear them because they look amazing.
So yeah, it's and we still do the black on black. We'll have a few combinations this year that we haven't done before, which would be kind of cool. So. Be on the lookout for those coming.
Is there any teal on teal action?
We'll have that a couple times, yeah.
Oh, wow. A couple times.
That'll be great. That will be great.
Don't tell us when.
Okay.
Don't tell us when yet, because we're going to do this every week.
We'll tease that every week. All right.
Hey, Jimmy, what's the having to deal with specialists and kickers with uniform needs? What would you have to give Josh on a weekly basis?
Well, they are one of the few people that don't have to wear knee pads and thigh pads. That's in some of the new rules. The kicker and the punter don't have to do that. Long snapper does. They might be a little bit shorter. We might have tailored them a little bit shorter. Everybody's kind of a little bit different. I think with Logan's pretty normal. He's a big guy, so his pants need to be a little longer than
Logan Cook, the punter. Yes,
that's right. He's a little longer than Lambo's.
Yeah.
And Lambo has pretty good sized thighs, so we kind of open up his knee area a little bit to make him feel a little more comfortable. But other than that, it's just little things. We had a little rain today, so we got to make sure we keep the balls dry for them and all that stuff. So, but it's kind of neat. I kicked and punted a little bit in high school, so I always have a little soft spot in my heart for those guys.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
Honestly, I've had 3 or 4 equipment guys, like head equipment guys over the years. He was the best because
he's sitting right here.
I know, but believe me, we had one guy I would say was the worst of all time. He came from the Patriots. He was only here 1 year. God, he was bad. But honestly, it's like little details like this that people really don't understand. It's the seamless things that go on to make the players feel comfortable to where they can perform at their best. And it's just random things like that. We go in there, we say, hey, this side of the jersey's really tight, the sleeve's loose, the sleeve's tight, whatever. They fix it. They have, someone back there that can tighten it up, loosen it up, do whatever we need. And those things go unnoticed, but as players, most of us at least, appreciate it. And you try not to be too high maintenance as a player, but there are some guys that are high maintenance over the years that I've seen. I tried not to be one of them.
That goes with the stuff. I think that's ultimately our job is to go unnoticed. And if everybody has everything, nobody comes up and asks for anything. And I think that would be the perfect day, but I don't know if that would ever happen.
It would never happen.
It's so basically so guys can go out there and all they got to think about is football.
When it comes to kicking cleats, would you take care of it? Would the equipment take care of it? Both? How does that work? Because you have a different shoe on a different foot. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff that we would take care of. Obviously, they're supplying it, and, we're going through them to order them. But these guys would just make it as easy as possible and make sure that we had what we needed all the time. And that's, the really good guys appreciate that. The players appreciate it. Over the years, I would see some guys, treat the equipment guys not so kindly, and so I tried not to do that. But there were times, I'm sure, that
well,
you
we
guys
spend a
didn't
little
like
bit
me.
more time with you guys too, because your meetings are a little shorter, and you're kind of hanging out in the locker room a little bit.
What?
A lot of TV
Are you sure?
watching.
Are you studying a film? We would
That's
interrupt their
what
film on the iPads.
I didn't realize we have more time off than most people. It's weird.
Yeah. Jimmy, what's that hat you're wearing? by the way?
This is one of the road hats. That's what I'm gonna try to do this year. Is when we're on the road, I'll wear a road hat. We've got a couple different versions. We're at home, I'll wear a home one, and maybe a few surprises along the way.
It's a good looking hat.
Where do they get that?
So-
Is that a New Era hat?
It's a New Era hat. Yeah, you'll see it on the sideline for when we're on the road, so you can get at the at Fanatics.
Weren't you guys the New Era Equipment Staff of the Year or something last year?
Yeah, we did win that. Doug kind of makes a big deal about it, but it's really we just wore the right hats at the right time. So, but
So you're downplaying it. I mean, you still got a championship belt to put on the
we
wall.
have
here,
we have a
so-
belt. I'll have to get a picture of that for you guys to show. It's kind of neat. I mean, it's I don't know.
It's pretty
We'll
cool.
bring it in here one day. We'll bring it in next week. We'll put it here on the front of the desk and show it off, even though you're humble about it.
That's right. I try to stay behind the scenes, but I'm catching a lot of heat from the coaches and every time they show me on the big screen. So uniform change was a big hit right there
Yeah.
with the coaches.
The equipment guys are like the long snapper of the NFL. They go unnoticed until something really bad
Something goes
happens.
wrong, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but they take care of so much during the game that people don't understand. I mean, constantly people coming off the field, a chin strap broke, a face mask came undone, shoelace broke, something like that, and they take care of it so fast that you don't even notice.
Love it.
Yep, appreciate it.
This
Thanks,
week,
guys.
black on white on the road in Tampa. Good luck. Marquise Lee's uniform in here today. We wish him the best as well. Jimmy, good to see you, bud.
All right, appreciate having me on again.
Jimmy, every week.
Every week, yeah.
Every
You got to
week.
keep putting up with me, I guess.
Jimmy Luck will unveil the uniform
Can we
right
get him
here.
on Tuesdays every week?
We might can work on that.
just-
Yeah.
It might be a little
randomly
early
chat
to
about
reveal
we
it, but
talk
yeah.
golf
Oh,
instead. We just
we'll talk about
golf.
whatever you want, yeah.
All right.
Golf, uniforms, whatever.
Yeah.
The Smiths, Morrissey, whatever
There
you
you
want.
go.
Yeah, all that coming up. Hey, coming up
Skinner
this
review.
Yeah, coming up this weekend. By the way, Leonard Skinner, Sunday. It's a 3:00 start,
try
all
to.
day long. The last of the Street Survivors farewell tour, final Jacksonville show for Skinner. Kid Rock, Jason Aldean, Charlie Daniels, Marshall Tucker, Blackberry Smoke. Tickets at Jaguars.com and through Ticketmaster. You guys going, Scobee?
We are going, yes.
I'll be here, yeah. I'm going to try to sneak out there.
Love it. Fired up. I'll be there too.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fantastic.
So
Get your
fun.
tickets.
Front row, tuxedo T-shirt.
Singing lead.
There you go.
Going to grow out his mullet from now until then. It'll be great.
Speaking of, John Ozier joins us in just a moment. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Jags fans, experience TIAA Bank Field like never before. Visit Jaguars.com/tours and book a guided behind-the-scenes tour presented by Fuel Up to Play 60. Hear stories of great plays by Jaguars legends. Get up close and personal with the famous video boards. And see why the Travel Channel named TIAA Bank Field as one of the 15 bucket list destinations for any football fan. Discounts available for children, first responders, and military. Visit Jaguars.com/tours for tickets and details. See you at the bank.
it was really difficult because you know, as a rookie, you don't know what to expect, and you just take it day by day and just work on your technique and try to get better and impress the coaches and, show them that you're a valuable part of the team, and, just all it comes down to is opportunity. And, coach at the time said, everybody's going to get an opportunity here. And sure enough, I got my opportunity in the fourth game, and it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers up there at Heinz Field. And, I played the whole game and was able to impress the coaches with my effort and finish and just technique and just overall improvement from when I first got there to that moment. Then, I had no regrets. We had, a day off afterwards, and we came in the next morning. And, some of the guys, they told them to go to the left. They were pointing out guys. And then one guy brought me aside and told me congratulations. And, walked in, had breakfast, and texted my brother, that I made the squad. And he's like, the 53 or practice squad. And I'm like, no, the active. And, it was a great moment.
That's Andrew Norwell in the locker room today, Jaguars left guard, when asked about his memories of his rookie season going into the final preseason game, an undrafted player. Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour on this Tuesday. JP Shadrick, former Jags kicker Josh Scobee.
Couple of things. First of all,
that's John Ozier.
Norwell's got that look that Scobee was sporting the first couple of years with the beard and the long hair. Remember that?
I'm just waiting to the day I can actually grow a beard.
Plus, what did I hear in the last segment? About the uniforms? Tuesday? No. Uniforms are Wednesday, pal. Wednesday unveil. If you can't carry the show, then you need to figure something out.
I'm just trying
Wednesdays are for me and JP, the uniform unveil.
I'm just trying to get
Stay in your lane, pal.
Some hype to this show. Obviously, Jimmy Luck brings a lot of excitement talking about the uniforms. So
what do we got?
Very excited
about the. It's going to go on all year.
It's a different shirt every week. Yeah.
You literally have no clothes budget.
Do you not? You don't want me to wear what I normally wear throughout the day. I'll just show up. I'll actually look like a golfer.
I can see that being your thing.
That is. People always ask me, like, did you play golf today? I'm like, no, this is actually
the tight
what
collared
I wear.
Nike shirt with the sleeve. Yeah,
correct. That's the first thing I saw in the closet today.
Yes.
Had to put it on.
That's just my normal clothes.
We just heard from Norwell there. Last preseason game, Doug Marrone spoke earlier today, his daily press conference, and it's a tough week for Doug. He always says this week every year, he's got to say goodbye to guys at the end of this week, and they've been working their tails off to get ready to play for his football team, and he was in that position before, so he kind of gets it, John.
Well, he does, and it's important to him. When I covered Tony Dungy with the Colts, he made a point to talk to every guy before they left. And I asked Doug today, does he do the same thing? And he does. I've been around coaches who haven't done that every time, and I think for those two, Tony played in the league a couple years, got cut. Doug played in a couple years and got cut a couple times. And I think the coaches who have been through that realize what the 65th guy on the roster is going through. I think there's a genuine appreciation for the fact that they're giving it all. And there are guys who, frankly, are on 90-man rosters who aren't going to make it in the NFL. And this is the end for them, and it's a tough time. And I do respect the fact that he takes the time to talk to each guy. And he said, even if it's a couple words, he said, it's short, and I can't imagine it's a very pleasant conversation. It's tough. And there's a part of the guy that just wants to get out of there. But he also said, Josh, that he remembers every conversation like that he had with the coach. So it's something that I think is important and does show a lot about the guy.
Yeah, I like that, and I appreciate that because you're right. You do remember every conversation you have with a head coach because, typically as an individual player, you don't get those conversations very often. You get them in a big group setting. So, yeah, I appreciate that. And, the two times that I've been released, I will always remember those conversations.
Now, you didn't go through it at the beginning of your career that much, though. I mean,
I didn't know it took.
Did you feel like your rookie year, did you know a secure feeling that you were definitely going to make it?
I had a good feeling about it because we were talking about it earlier. My first two games in the preseason were not good. The next two were really good. It wasn't just, he did better in the third and fourth. I had really, really good games. So I was optimistic about it, and I'm always optimistic about everything. So I felt good about my situation.
You and me both, Josh.
Good.
I am the eternal
It's a good way to
optimist.
be.
The glass is half full
It really
here
is.
at this table today. Wide receiver position under the microscope. We saw Jimmy Luck bring in Marquise Lee's uniform. He won't be wearing it the rest of the year, so that means it's a young receiver group that's got to pick up the slack here, John. And, it sounds like from hearing Doug talk yesterday, Doug Marrone, that they're not going outside here. They're happy with the guys, at least right now, that they have on this roster.
Well, I don't think they're there yet. I think if they had one more injury, then it might be something they consider. But they came into this with 5 guys that I think they felt great about, with Chark and Lee and Westbrook and
Cole.
there's so many. I always forget. Cole and Moncrief. And I think they feel good about Green and or Mickens. So I think they feel good about that group. I think if it was one more, then they would be looking for a guy who they knew could line up and play. But they've got 4, at least 4, and then one more that they know can come in, knows the offense right now, they're comfortable with. So I don't see them going after a Des Bryant. I don't see them going after a veteran right now. And you hope for their sake that they don't have to do that during the season.
Yeah, that would be that would be the worst case scenario.
And I don't think it changes that much. Here's what they're going to miss about Marquise. He was a guy who, on third down, Blake trusted. And there were a couple of routes that they felt really good with Marquise about. The crossing route, he had a knack for turning that into a first down. So I think he's going to miss that trust with Blake. I don't think you're going to miss it from a fantasy stats point of view, because I think you had a group that was going to get – all those guys are going to get between 45 and 60 balls, 600 and 800 yards, 2 to 5 touchdowns. It's going to be that sort of group. And they've got still the potential. What they need from these receivers is the potential to stretch the field, strain the edges of the defense, get those guys out of the box and run their offense in a balanced way. I don't think losing Marquise hurts that concept, but I think it'll hurt him on third down.
John Oehser with us, Jaguars.com senior writer. You have an article up today.
That's what I do.
That's your job.
Every once in a while, I throw a shot of bone.
Why not? Thanks. The organization appreciates your effort. Dante Fowler Jr., you spoke with him in the locker room yesterday, and the story is up today, and you get an idea. He's going to get some playing time this Thursday, if not a lot of playing time.
Here's what will amaze you. I spoke to him today. I'm that fast.
Today you spoke to him?
I am. I'm the wizard of the keyboard, Josh.
Your office is like 50 feet from his locker. It's
well,
not that hard to get there.
I'm not saying I deserve a medal, but I did it. He was really – it was interesting because I think based on the press conference everybody saw at the beginning of training camp, there may have been a perception out there that Dante was mad at the world, that he was in a bad place. And he was talking today, and I asked him, I said, how do you feel going into the season? And he said he's in a great place in terms of he feels like this is a season, it's a contract year. He feels like he's healthy going in. He feels like he has the right frame of mind. The eye rollers among us will say, well, this is, we've heard this before from him. But I do think he's in a good spot. He seems to get the task in front of him, and he seems to get the importance of what he's about to do. He's a talented guy. I don't expect 15 sacks from him, but I expect him to do what he did last year, which is consistently make an impact and be that guy that every other game it seemed like you look up in a crucial spot, and he was making a big play. As Josh pointed out last week, he also has a tendency to make the negative play. But his impact and his ability to swarm. You mentioned the
what are you looking at?
That was like glass
half
empty there.
I remember kicker hater, but
I like Dante.
He has that ability to overcome his mistake with an impact play that pushes it in a more positive direction.
It's a defensive line room that just has so many personalities and just very unique guys, and the mix in that room is pretty special. But some of these guys are just wired different. A guy like Unique Ngakoue is got a motor that won't quit. Dante Fowler Jr., super athletic, same kind of idea. When you can keep him on the straight path, he's fantastic on the field. Calais, the leader, who's been here forever. Marcel Darius is the big contract coming in here. Malik Jackson, the guy who was drafted a little lower and worked his way. You got all these different guys in the room. What was the room like that when you were around? You had a lot of different personalities, especially on the defensive line back in the mid 2000s or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here, right?
The D linemen are always the guys that I like to talk to the most because you don't have a lot of interaction with them other than being in the locker room. Obviously, I'm not on the field with them, but we had guys like Marcus Stroud, John Henderson, Bobby McCray, who was in with me, Rob Meyer, who played here for a long time but never said a word. All these guys, I love chatting with them because they're all completely different people, but amazing athletes, freak athletes. They're so big, they're so strong, and I loved working out with them and running with them. That's what blew my mind. When we would do running drills and I would actually have to be next to them in the offseason running with them, that they would beat me off the line.
Or behind them, as it were.
Yes, correct. Yeah, most of the time you want to be there. But these guys, I can't imagine playing with this group now because, I mean, they are the most they have to be the most talented D-line in the NFL. I mean, from top to bottom, super talented. And I think that's why they, had some issues a couple weeks ago with Yannick and Dante. A lot of them have big personalities. They're so talented. They all want to be the big contract guy, the guy that goes to the Pro Bowl, the guy that stands out. And that's sometimes the good and the bad with D linemen.
And frankly, Josh, if there's a position, I would worry if the quarterback and the receiver, if they didn't get along. If a couple of defensive ends, again, I don't know the depth of the relationship between those two, but if a couple of defensive ends it's not like they have to work in concert together. If they're both mad at each other and I want to use that fuel, and I don't think they are, by the way. I'm saying in theory, if it's not the happiest of relationships, it doesn't really affect that much on the defensive line. And I've been in this locker room enough, and you have too, JP. This is not a locker room where chemistry, continuity, getting along is not a problem. This might be the tightest locker room that I've been around. And a very interesting thing you said, and I know it was a slip, you said Calais Campbell's been around here forever. But it feels like it.
I know, right?
And that's the remarkable thing. When you said that, I said, well, he just walked in the door 15 months ago. Yeah. But the point with him, and I think a huge thing about him, is it feels like he's been here for 10 years. And, Josh, to me, that's the most remarkable thing about this guy, is that you've been around free agents who came in. Very often, to me anyway, it took 6 months or even a year for a free agent to feel like a leader, because there's a tendency in that locker room of, wow, 53 alpha dogs in here, I've got to figure out where I fit. These guys came in here last year and were leaders from the beginning, and it was a huge deal for this team last year.
Yeah, he's a different person in a really good way. I've gotten to speak to him quite a few times, played against him a few times. Mm-hmm. Actually, every time I see him, he likes to remind me that he blocked a kick against me one time that got returned for a touchdown. So it's really nice of him to say.
Was this?
That's ages ago.
I want to say ages ago. I want to say it was 2009.
That's
my
long
guess.
Time ago.
It feels like it now.
10 seasons ago.
Yes, but I mean, he's the type of guy that you just feel like he's the father figure around anyone he's going to be around, and I think they need that. They need that with him, and it's good to hear that he acclimated so fast to this, because that's what you need. I've seen so many big time or high price free agents that come in from other teams that 5, 6, 10-year veterans that
and it never fits.
They don't fit. They don't know how to act. You can tell their personality might not fit, and therefore they don't acclimate to their situation, and they don't last very long.
And they've had a few classes around here now in a row where most of those guys have hit, which is very, very unique for an NFL football team in free agency. Thursday night, what's the angle here, John? Thursday night, last preseason game.
Get in, get out, and get home, baby.
Running clock.
No, and that's the reality for people who are watching this game as a fan, and even for somebody who's looking at the big picture of the season, which is what you try to do when you're covering the team. It's really not a very compelling game to watch because your frontline guys aren't in. At the same time, it is important to remember, from the coach's perspective, it's a very important game because there are real roster spots. As Doug talked about, there are real life stories going on. But even beyond that, you are trying to decide, 5-6 spots on the roster. And then beyond that, you are trying to get some of your young guys that will be playing for you some real-time experience. Cody Kessler is going to play. I would like to see that as limited as possible because you don't want your backup quarterback playing behind a line that's struggling, if it does, against a bunch of guys who are trying to make a team, which is what you're going to have on the other side.
Good point.
So there's a little bit of a thing there where you want to watch and see how that's going to see how long Kessler plays. But I think it is important for Cody Kessler to play because, wow, he's got 3 games so far, and that could be the only games that he gets this season.
The rest of the year, yeah. That would be an ideal situation.
That's Micah there, Josh, not
Yes.
Wood. So.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Right.
That's as close as we're going to get. John, good stuff. Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. Always good to be with my well-dressed friend here.
I actually knew he was going to say
The
well-dressed.
t-shirts.
I have no idea why. I felt like
The
he was going to
t-shirts
say
are
well-dressed.
unbelievable.
Yes.
I absolutely love it.
Each and every week.
Very, very comfortable.
DTWD Originals.
Yeah.
Talking to the microphone, Josh. It's a
Sorry,
radio
I was
show.
trying to lean back so these guys could get a shout out.
You could be a model.
A model for something. I'm a model citizen. I'm not sure about an actual model.
Debatable. John, well done. We'll see
All right,
you.
guys.
John Ozier's getting out of here. Hey, join Brian Sexton, Ashton Sullivan, and occasionally John Ozier for Jaguars Drive Time in the mornings.
Monday,
8:30.
Wednesday, Friday, baby.
You're a Monday, Wednesday, Friday guy.
I'm not up that early.
Me either. Jaguars.com, Jags app, Jaguars Twitter, or social media some days, or Facebook. Depends on the day, on what platform it will air.
It's out there on the interweb.
It's somewhere out there, and so are we. We'll come back in a moment. Final segment of Jaguars Happy Hour. Social Scobee around the corner here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. I've been doing this for 20 years, but success doesn't happen in a vacuum. Thank you for helping me move this thing along. You helped me get this thing going in the early days by telling 20 of your closest friends about Tito's. They told 20 more, and it kept growing from there. We wouldn't be where we are today without your support. Thank you very much. Go to Tito'sVodka.com and pick up some Tito's gear. All proceeds benefit our charity partners. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
When this is the sound of a waterfall in nature, there's no cause for concern. But when it's the sound of water gushing through your living room ceiling because a pipe bursts inside the wall, there's reason to panic unless you pick up the phone and call 1-800-SERVPRO. Only the cleanup and restoration specialists at ServPro can help make fire and water damage like it never even happened. So make the call to 1-800-SERVPRO at the first sign of water damage. Franchises are independently owned and operated.
All right, here's Scobee for the win. From the hold of Podlich. 36 yards. He'll kick it right to left across your radio dial. There's the snap, the placement. The kick is up on the way, and it is good. And the Jaguars beat the Rams.
Josh Scobee for the win.
2009.
Oh, you remember the game?
Overtime. Yes, I remember.
Rams overtime,
Yep.
2009.
At home. I remember that.
How about that? 23-20.
Was that
the final?
That's actually
I'm
that
guessing.
sounds about right.
Is that right?
That sounds about right.
I believe so.
Yeah. Actually, I have the football in my house.
I think I was at the game.
Huh.
As a fan.
Really?
Yeah, because I was working across the street with the baseball team. I think we had.
I think that's about right. That if you look that up and that
I'm gonna
score
look it
is
up.
right.
What do I get?
I'll give you XL age
Okay.
or yeah boy yay.
Okay, stand by.
I bet you're not far off. But
by.
what I
I'm
love
looking
about that game was
23-20 overtime.
How do you remember?
Look at that.
That's amazing.
See?
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
I remember afterwards, my wife and I, this is before we had kids, we went and ate dinner at a random restaurant at the town center, and we watched the 4 o'clock game after, and the New England beat Tennessee 59-0 that afternoon, and we watched some of that game. It was snowing in like October there, and they beat them 59-0, and almost got in a fight with a guy that was talking trash about David Garrard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just called him out. I'm like, sir, we won. We won the game. And he said, well, what do you know? I said, well, I'm the one that won the game. So
that's what I know.
That's him. Yeah.
Enjoy your chips
that's
and
what
sauces,
I remember
sir.
from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, Daly's Place, busy schedule coming up, especially the week of that Patriots game. September 12th, Deep Purple and Judas Priest, followed by Dierks Bentley the next night, September 13th. Sting and Shaggy, September 14th, leading up to the Patriots game at TIAA Bank Field. Tickets at dailysplace.com. You going to those? You're going to all those, right?
Yeah, especially Sting and Shaggy. I mean,
I'm thinking about that one, really. Like, seriously, that might be a good show.
Yeah.
That might be okay. I don't think you agree.
I mean, I'd like to see Shaggy play, It Wasn't Me, maybe, but that's about it. I'd probably just stay for that and then leave after.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
No Sting? You're not a Sting? No? Police?
Yeah,
stuff?
every now and again when it comes on randomly, yeah.
By the way, okay, before we get to Social Scobee, we have a photo from the other night when you were here on Saturday. Yep. That was when the game was, right? Saturday against Atlanta. And you hosted the in-stadium feed again.
Yep.
And there's your son to your left, our right. He was up there with you.
Oh, my gosh. You want to talk about a Jaguar fan. This kid, obviously, he has grown up being a Jaguar fan. I won't let him be a fan of anyone else. But luckily, he's the man. He's such a smart kid, and I asked him if he wanted to do the Duval chant, and he gave it to him flawlessly, perfect. The stadium reciprocated and yelled it right back at him.
Wow!
And afterwards, he couldn't have been more excited. I mean, he watches the videos of it now. My wife posted on Facebook. And all the comments, he loves it. So he is a diehard Jaguar fan.
How old is he now?
7. Just turned 7.
7.
Yeah, we just had his birthday a couple weeks ago, the first preseason game in the pools.
You got him kicking yet? What's the future?
He wants to be a punter. He keeps saying he wants to be a punter. And I try to tell him that punters don't score points and punters, don't get as hot a girls. So he doesn't really care about either of those right now, but one day he will.
It'll come around.
Yeah.
Fantastic photo, and I'm sure a fun night. And he's got a future in this business, too, if he wants it.
Yeah, I think I told him that might be his first picture or video of his stardom. So we'll see.
Love it.
Yeah.
Social Scobee time. Let's get to some social media questions for the kicker today, starting off with @MetaWorldCrazy. Who should Jim Furyk pick for the Ryder Cup? Wow. That's coming up.
Yeah,
What's that, September in France? Right?
Yeah, I think we're right at a month away from the Ryder Cup. So obviously I'm a huge golf fan. But my picks for the Ryder Cup, who I think Furyk is going to pick, I think number 1 will be Bryson DeChambeau. He just won the first playoff event this past week. And then Phil Mickelson. Most likely it could be Matt Kuchar. We will see. Matt Kuchar or Zach Johnson. That would be one of my other 2 or 3. And then the last will be Tiger. Tiger's going to be an assistant captain, but hopefully he's a playing captain.
That's Furyk's call, though, right?
It is. So he has, his vice captains, which Tiger is one of them. But the way Tiger's playing, and I'm sure he's going to have some producers in his ear as well, Furyk will, to make sure you put Tiger on that team because ratings go way up when he's playing.
There's no doubt. And he is playing well right now, too.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time before he wins one of these things.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
It feels that way.
Yeah, I hope so because golf loves him and golf needs him.
Tiger fist pump on a Sunday. Let's go.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Not much better than that. Let's move along with Social Scobee today. Our next question up on the screen, and I can't read that far, Josh. Who is the biggest change you've seen from previous coaching staffs and teams you've played on? How this current team is not sure how much.
You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
It says, what is the biggest change you've seen from previous coaching staffs and teams you played on versus how this current team is not sure how much of we need some commas in here. How much of the behind-the-scene moments you got to see? But if you want, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
well,
if
that's
you
a
want.
lot. All right.
So your thoughts, please, Mr. Scobee.
So obviously the last coaching staff that was here, I was with them for 2 or 3 years with Gus and everybody else. But the difference from what I see is what everyone else sees is the mentality. And Gus, was very laid back and, had a lot of fun. He was very good coordinator, defensive coordinator, just didn't have the success as a head coach. So I think that's why Mr. Kahn decided to hire Doug Marrone and bring back Coach Coughlin, was because he wanted to get that mindset and that philosophy of hard-nosed football and working hard and trying to win games and not just get better.
Right. Winning.
Yeah.
Trying to win lunch around here, Josh.
Just trying to win lunch.
We've got another social Scobee question, we're told.
Which one? You want me to read it again?
Yeah, let's go down a little bit. Go down a little bit.
All
go
right,
down,
let's
Max.
go down.
Max, go down a little
Same
bit.
guy.
Oh, you already got that one. We already got that one. Okay, who's the best and worst players you played with and why?
Who are the best and worst players?
Give us the best player you've ever played with.
Oh, man. Let's see. My favorite players to watch
just
as teammates.
Yeah.
It has to be Fred Taylor. He was my favorite by far to watch because he was so big and so fast at the same time. And he and I are still close, and we were close when we were playing. And by far my favorite person to watch play football. As far as worst,
that's a tough
There's
question.
way too many of the worst ones that I'll just say Blaine Gabbert. That's all.
Come on.
My least favorite to watch play football.
Oh, no.
I won't give any reasons
I thought you
why.
wouldn't even give a name.
Well, I could have said BG11, and that would have been.
Come on.
Everyone could have figured that out. Yeah, I just didn't like watching Blaine play.
Why
I
not?
didn't like when it was 3rd down and 5 from the 15, and all of a sudden I have a 50-yard field goal because he would get sacked 15, 20 yards
It
back.
impacted your livelihood
Yes.
as well. I
Yes.
guess that makes sense.
Correct.
That way. I never really thought about it like that.
I did.
Apparently you still do from time to time. One more question here. This is from Stephen Karate. He says he picked Lambeau as his fantasy kicker. How do you think he'll do?
Well, I hope he does well. I always had questions over the years and people thanking me for fantasy points and whatnot. I think the team is going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. That'll help for your one-pointers. Hopefully he gets a lot of field goals. Last year he had 20 field goals on a limited year. So if he gets 30 plus, that's a good thing because that means the offense is moving the ball a lot. And that's the misconception. Sometimes people think that a team that doesn't score a lot of touchdowns is going to have a lot of field goal attempts. It just means they're not moving the ball that much. So hopefully he's a good pick.
You know him well?
I do, yes.
Is there like a fraternity, a kicker fraternity? Is there an initiation or is there anything like that?
It's not really an initiation, but it is a fraternity because we're all rooting for each other. Unless it's game day, we're all rooting for each other. We especially the guys that get along really well. We talk before the games, after the games, and
play a lot of golf together. In the
we do.
that.
I used to host a tournament for kickers, punters, and snappers. So we're a small fraternity because we do something that's unlike any other person on the field.
Well, now you can host one for broadcasters too.
That sounds boring. Very boring. A lot less athletic.
Josh, good stuff, man.
Yeah,
well
appreciate it, man.
We'll see you next week. It'll be real next week.
Oh, this is what I'm looking forward to, is the ones leading up to an actual game.
The New York Football Giants await the Jaguars in Week 1, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, bud.
Josh Scobee, former Jaguars kicker, joining. Always a Jaguars kicker joining.
Yeah, you can say
except for that few months. But you were always a Jaguars kicker to us. Max Hockman, Ashlyn Sullivan, Brent Reber, Dave DeCandis, Patrick Cavanaugh, Joe Fortunato, and our entire crew. This is JP Shadrick saying good afternoon from TIAA Bank Field. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.